What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to talk about every new Godzilla project on the way in a very short amount of time. There are no less than 4 official Godzilla stories that are about to be told from the end of 2023 to the beginning of 2024. The first of which being a short film anniversary special called Godzilla vs. Megalon, which will then be followed by Monarch, Legacy of Monsters on November 17th, and after that another Toho film by the name of Godzilla Minus One globally on December 3rd, and then finally Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire at the beginning of 2024. So first things first, guys, there is a brand new bit of footage from the new Godzilla Minus One movie, and it is looking awesome. Defense forces are desperately trying to stop Godzilla while he's rampaging toward Japan at full force in the water. It looks incredible, and some sort of eerie new ability that it reminded me of Shin Godzilla gets teased with his spines on his tail or something, and there's even extended looks at him terrorizing the city. This is a movie that I think a lot of people are looking forward to the most, and the shot of Godzilla all burned up and ready to resume battle is just, it looks extremely brutal, man. I don't really know if they're going to try and nuke Godzilla here, but whatever they did, it wasn't enough to finish the job, and it just goes to show how savage of a monster he really is.
The belt means nothing at this point. It's a little bit personal. Oh yeah!
Godzilla Minus One is my most anticipated project out of these 4. There's been a lot of trailers and I've broken down some stuff before in the past. Just know that it's coming very soon and the reviews are coming out for it and it's looking pretty good for this one. Now, next up, we've got some more stuff surrounding Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Now look guys, I did a breakdown of the newest trailer, which you can find on the channel easily, so I won't cover this one too much just yet, but from what I've actually heard personally about this series, look, I've heard it's actually very good. Now, I don't want to really say too much because I don't really know. I haven't seen it myself. I don't really know what it's going to be like for me personally. That's what I'm trying to see here, but I have heard that at the end of the day, it's kind of a prequel and sequel to both Kong Skull Island as well as Godzilla from 2014. It jumps back and forth a lot in the timeline. It includes Kurt Russell, it has a kind of mysterious X-Files vibe, and from what I was told, it's going to make us Jurassic Park fans wish Universal would give us something a fraction of this cool for their own series. Monarch Legacy of Monsters is going to be introducing a lot of monsters that we haven't really seen before, but it's also expanding on the bigger lore of the Monsterverse. It is set in the past, but it's something that I think a lot of people are going to be gravitating towards because it's a TV show and it's not going to come out all at one time. You're going to have to watch each episode individually as they come out, and I'm excited for it. Now, Monarch Legacy of Monsters comes out in just a couple of weeks, but before that jumps off, Godzilla vs. Megalon is turning 50 years old this year, and that very campy classic from the Showa era of Toho films is getting an official follow-up set in the new CGI/live-action combo continuity of events that apparently takes place after Godzilla vs. Destroya. That's right, it looks like the Heisei series is going to live on through these gemstone short films that feature the now fully grown Godzilla Jr. going up against new renditions of older monsters. Megalon being a sequel to last year's Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex. So for those of you who may be unaware, Toho just dropped this short film trailer out of nowhere featuring one of the Seatopia people holding a medallion in her hand to seemingly summon Megalon, the protector of the people of Eastern Island. Now, those toga-wearing weirdos that somehow communicated with other aliens to borrow Gigan so they could get some help fighting Godzilla in the Showa movies. This time in the Heisei continuation timeline, which seriously, I think we need an actual name for this new string of canon, where Godzilla is taking on Megalon in events that I'm going to assume take place right after Gigan Rex. The city is getting obliterated by his atomic breath. He looks really gnarly here, and Megalon is looking awesome too. Seriously, this is the coolest I think he's ever really looked, which is saying a lot because I always kind of thought he was a neat design. Both Gigan and Megalon are kind of these strange alien monsters that have had biomechanical cyborg work done on them. At least that's what I always thought. So to see this guy finally coming back to fight Godzilla in the new Heisei follow-up series, no less. It's really cool. Now, all they need to do now is get Kong in there like they had planned to do in the 1990s, and it's a big Showa reunion of classic Godzilla enemies. Now, Godzilla vs. Megalon, the new Gemstone 50th anniversary short film, is slated to drop on November 3rd. The same day, Godzilla Minus One debuts in Japan, and it's going to be quickly followed up by both Monarch Legacy of Monsters on November 17th, and then Godzilla and Kong the New Empire in 2024. So it's kind of a big time to be a Godzilla fan. Now, personally, I can't wait for this thing. If you know anything about me and how I became a Godzilla fan, Godzilla vs. Megalon was actually the very first Godzilla movie I can remember seeing. Look, soon after that movie, I got introduced to Godzilla, and a whole bunch of new Godzilla stuff started coming out when I was a kid. They finally had started releasing the other Heisei movies like King Ghidorah and Destroya. Well, the TriStar remake was about to come out, so it was in Taco Bell commercials and everything. Godzilla vs. Megalon, that old 70s movie, holds a pretty special, fun, and nostalgic place in my Godzilla fandom heart. This is Godzilla making another comeback in the new Reiwa/Heisei hybrid era continuity that I'm really excited about. The last movie even got Miki Sagusa in a voiceover, so hopefully this is going to follow suit. I'd really like to see them go all out actually and just commit to doing something of either a series or live action feature length film in this timeline, but so far I can't really complain, man. And then guys, last but not least, we have GVK2, or GXK as you can call it, which is even getting a special prequel story that should be coming out soon. Now, the thing about Godzilla and Kong the New Empire is this is the furthest in the timeline we've gotten so far. It's going to come out in April, early 2024. Actually, they've been moving around the date, but it might be locked in right now. So from my understanding, this project is going to be introducing some new monsters for the Monsterverse to really have fun with in a feature-length film capacity. And who knows, that new big bad orangutan looking monster, he might even have been teased in the Monarch show by the time we see that stuff in the new movie. This is something that I think a lot of people who were fans of GVK are going to be happy with, because it should expand upon the whole Hollow Earth lore that we all got from 2021. By the way, how crazy is it that, you know, people living beneath the surface, I know they're not really related, but the Megalon stuff, it's all coming together, man. There's a big Godzilla's crazy universe. But again, this is just one of many Godzilla projects, GXK, that will be coming out soon, and it's one that I think will have some big effects on that continuity in the brand, the Monsterverse stuff, and it's definitely going to tie back into the legacy of monsters, because, you know, this is the most modern film as well as the most interesting in terms of expanded lore. We're going to be learning a lot from the show and then getting the most further chapter in the series in theaters early next year. The other movies and projects I mentioned here are all kind of playing in a sandbox of pre-existing points in the timeline or established character portrayals, so this one should be pretty interesting in comparison. I will admit, Godzilla and Kong the New Empire, I'm not so sure how excited I am for that comparatively to the other ones, because it's kind of like, okay, it's just another movie, but Minus One, it's basically a retelling of the 1954 film. The other one's like Megalon, it's a short film adaptation of the 70s movie, and Monarch Legacy of Monsters, that is very original. We've never really seen anything like that in live action before, so a lot of cool stuff coming out, man. That was every new Godzilla project and what we know about them so far. Again, if you want to see expanded stuff on any of these projects, just check out the channel. I've got loads of stuff that you could go over, guys. Now, whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below.